really deeply grounding ourselves and connecting to the earth opens up so many different doors. Whether it's about healing or it's about spiritual development or mystical experiences, it's so powerful and it's so underestimated. And before we speak about all the different points or all the different things that you can do to ground yourself more and to understand this better, I would like to share one experience with you that I had in Sri Lanka just about a year ago that was really deeply impacting me and how I see spirituality and how I see life. Because, you know, there's a lot of not grounded spirituality out there where it's all about getting into a weird bubble that is very disconnected from reality. And what I want to do with you is I want to really show you that grounded spirituality, grounded healing gets you much further and faster. And it's a much more mature way of approaching spirituality and healing. So let me tell you about Sri Lanka. I was sitting outside, so you have to imagine this. We are there close to the forest. I'm sure it was a rainforest. We had our small villa there. I mean, it's not really a villa, but they call it like that. And I was sitting out there on some type of balcony, on a chair. It was already like 5 o'clock. The sun was slowly setting. It was raining a little bit. You could still hear some birds. You could, you know, really smell the nature and everything. And it was very, very quiet out there because it was slightly raining. No one was really outside. No one was working. And I was sitting on this chair and just closing my eyes. And I believe I was even doing some mantra meditation and I stopped doing it. And I just wanted to really allow myself to feel the earth. It was like some intuition I had. And then something so far out happened because really I was feeling how my entire presence and being was sinking down into the earth. How I was really becoming one with the earth. How I was really breathing together with the earth and how I really felt at one with everything. That's the best way to describe that experience. I really felt that the earth, that Mother Earth, that nature was just an extension of the divine energy, of the source, of the supreme, of the divine. It was really an incredible experience because I felt so sheltered, I felt so safe, and I felt like for the first time in my life, I could just release everything. I could just let go of everything. And it was also a very spiritual experience, you know. I really felt like I was part of nature. I felt like I was one with everything, but yet I was different from everything. It was incredible. And even during the next days after this very deep grounding experience, I was really feeling so relaxed, so connected to myself like I had never felt before. You know, I was speaking before about grounding. I was even teaching it to others, but that experience really was like an eye-opener. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Now, why is grounding so important, especially when we talk about yoga, you know, asanas, very important topic. Grounding is so important because you have to understand something. We have incarnated as a human being. So if you're not grounded, if you're not connected to this physical body, then your soul has no way to express itself through this body. And I was talking about this when I made a video about my out-of-body experience with the 5 koshas that you also can find on this YouTube channel, that only if you're really present in your physical body, only if you're really connected to this physical presence, then your soul can really express itself through this. And there are so many misconceptions out there about what transcending actually means, because transcending doesn't mean that you negate or neglect or bypass your body. It means that you arrive with your consciousness, with your full presence in your body. I'm sure you've met spiritual people that were telling you about far-out experiences and things they saw and things they do, and you know, their energy is so much up there. Even when clients come and they work with me, in the beginning of the session, they share about what has happened to them, how they are, and their energy is so much up there, so high. But when we ground we bring the energy back to ourselves. Grounding is kind of like a bridge from going to your analytical mind, your head, into your heart, your deeper heart mind. And it is only then that you really experience your human identity and even your soul, your spiritual identity. Because ultimately, the body contains all of the different dimensions that we have as a human being. You know, there's this physical presence, we have our energy body, our mind body. They are all connected to this physical body. So if we neglect being present in our body, then we are disconnected from our emotions, we are disconnected from our energies, we are disconnected from our very human self, the deeper self that wants to express itself in this life, that wants to fully incarnate and manifest in this life. Now, I want to share with you how you can get in your body and why it is sometimes so difficult to get in your body. You see, our physical body has 4 different needs. Sometimes I call them survival needs. And one of them is the very reason why we so easily disconnect from our physical presence. One is sleep. Our body definitely requires sleep. And if you've ever done a few nights without sleep, you really understand that you really need sleep actually more than eating. In one sense, if you think about it. Like, I think we can fast for a week or 2, but can we go without sleep for 1 or 2 weeks? Then, of course, food and water, so important. Procreation and sex. It's a natural urge of the body. One thing I will say about that is that it's a very misunderstood topic, sexuality, and I will make a separate video about it. Religions have demonized, like sex, it's a bad thing, it's like a dirty thing. Modern society has glorified it as the pinnacle of human happiness and ecstasy. But sexuality, really, this whole thing about sex has a lot to do with your life energies, with your pranas. So we just need to be a bit mindful with who we share our life energies and how often we share our life energies. And that's all I'm going to say now about that. I'll make a separate video about it. Now we come to this 4th point. And the 4th requirement of our body, so it can function well and it can function in a healthy way, is that feeling of safety. We need to be able to feel safe psychologically, but also physically, of course. We need some shelter, we need some warmth, we need, that we have some basic shelter to survive. But more important is this psychological safety. And when we don't feel safe in our physical presence, we disconnect and we disassociate and we go into a fantasy or dream world, or we freeze. And this happens so many times. Therefore, social media is so difficult, such a difficult topic, because you scroll and you watch and you look, especially these short videos, and you disconnect from your body and you enter into this mental energy. And most of the time our body doesn't really feel comfortable and safe. And because people don't feel comfortable and safe, they disconnect. We disconnect from our authentic self, we go on our survival identity, and then we start acting out of fight-flight response, and we try to control things, or we become a victim of things, but we're not the creator of our own destiny anymore. Therefore, watch the video about the victim state that I made before that explains this in more detail. Therefore, when it comes to grounding now, what we really want to do is we also want to create a feeling of safety. And that feeling of safety, traditionally in the yoga, Shastra science, we say it's given for a boy through the mother and for a girl through the father, that feeling of safety. But ultimately, for all of us, and it can be any parent figure that can give you that feeling of safety, but we all have one original mother, and that is Mother Earth. So when we deeply connect to the healing power of the earth, then we can experience that feeling of safety. Now, why is that? It's because the earth has its own vibration and frequency. This is actually science. You can look into this. This is actually really true. I think Schumann was the scientist that discovered this. And this frequency is 7.83, something like that. And that same frequency is the frequency of alpha brainwaves, which are the brainwaves that you experience in meditation. So connecting to the earth brings you in a very meditative state where healing can actually take place. So again, the earth has a certain vibration, and when you align yourself with that vibration, you go and access deeper brainwaves that give you access to a deeper or higher state of consciousness that allows for more healing, transformation, intuition, spiritual experiences, and so many things. In fact, when you go into alpha brainwaves, your heart rhythm and beat is going to be synchronized and coherent with those brainwaves. It's fascinating. You can look into it. So there's so many benefits why grounding is so important. Yeah? And another thing I want to mention is that if you really want to have a grounded experience in life and live an extraordinary life, where you go after these big visions and desires that you have that are meant for the upliftment of this planet, not these self-destructive desires, then connecting to your body, grounding and connecting to the earth is one of the main keys to manifest this. Grounded spirituality, not going into some clouds, into some illusion, because that's the difference between meditation and dreaming. Some people can sit and close their eyes and they just go into a fantasy land, into a fantasy world. But true meditation is really connected to the body. The body becomes a bridge into the heart, and the heart becomes a bridge into the Atma, the soul, where you can experience the divine, just like I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I recorded a beautiful grounding meditation on this YouTube channel that you can listen, and I'll share more meditations that will help you to align yourself with the earth. All the best.